Hey,
Hey, hello.
hi. I'm sorry that we had to kind of jump things around. I've been putting out some fires ever since I got back. But how you doing?
That's okay. Thank you for having me on today. I'm doing pretty well. It's National Voter Registration Day, so I'm excited. It's a great day.
All right, so I got some questions. I actually wrote these down because, I don't play a large role in politics except for, the right that I've been given to be able to vote. And, all those who are complaining about people in office or complaining on people who aren't in office, if they don't vote, they have nothing to complain about. Right? So that's my limit in really being part of the political process. Right? So I want to ask you a couple of questions here, and I wrote them down. All right. So what really motivated you to pursue your career in this field?
I think I was motivated by the fact that my family is originally from Anderson, South Carolina, and both my great grandfather and my grandfather fought in World War I and II, but they came back home to places where they couldn't vote because they were Black. And so I think that my father still remembers the day that he stood out in front of the polling location while his grandfather and great grandfather voted for the very first time. He was in high school. So I always grew up knowing that and really internalizing that these rights have just very recently been achieved. And I know that each generation has to do everything that they can to improve access to the ballot box. And so I wake up every day with the best job in the world because I get to help people vote and have the resources they need to vote. And that's why I'm here. And I've been here now 19 years in the civic space doing get out the vote work.
Got it. And because this is nonpartisan, you just believe that no matter who you're voting for, that you want to give more access or more information to people because of they don't understand how important it is when when you vote. I mean, a lot of people think, oh, I can't make a difference, and for those who say I can't make a difference, what do you say?
I say, yes, you absolutely do make the difference. Most of the things that affect everybody's daily lived experience happen at the local level too. And what people don't realize is, yes, this is a big year, a lot of attention's on the presidential, but there are a ton of local races happening, and a good portion of those get decided by like 100 votes, 1,000 votes. Your vote absolutely counts, and how a community is organized and what rules we're all gonna live under, and what rules our family lived under, that all gets affected at the local level. So your vote counts, and your voice matters. At the end of the day, it's the only thing that will help everyone to create a healthy and thriving democracy. And that's something that will benefit all of our families.
In the past, when I was coming up, and I went into the box, and I only really did vote for you know the mayor, the governor, and the president, and I never really knew or wasn't as concerned on such a local level on who was directly taking care of me. What do and now I understand much more. But what do I tell people now? What do you tell people when they only are voting for, like you just said, the big candidate? They don't realize what the small one who really is affecting them way more than probably the big candidate. What do you say to them about that? What do you say? Do you say, listen, you got to go and you got to start researching who's taking your alderman or you're this or that? Like, how do you do that?
Yeah, anything that you care about, you've got to start. We have more information at our fingertips these days than any other generation. So anything you care about, you have to spend a little bit of time. So if you care about your schools and what's happening with your kids in school, then that's, you want to know a little bit about the school board. And if you care about what's happening, in police accountability, you got to know something about the mayor. And if you want to know where budgets are in your city, you got to know something about city council members. And that definitely matters because you show me your budgets and I'll show you your priorities. And so kind of you want to know, do a little bit of research, get online, check out what these different offices do and what they're responsible for, and then make sure you support candidates that are aligned with the future that you want to see. And that's, I think, the most important thing. And I just try to let people know that what happens in your community matters, and what happens to your family matters, and what happens with your friends matters. And so we all want to make sure that everybody, you know, has their voice heard and has the information they need to do so.
And I think that's a good point, because, you know, and that's what I wanted to try to hear from you, because back in the days, you know, there wasn't the internet, and there wasn't where you can just pull up right away. Like, my kid is going to this school, they're part of this district, and I think the school is horrible. But now I know right now that they're obviously, even if I don't know where the other person is coming from who's trying to, you know, to be in that district, I know that I'm unhappy with who's running it right now. And you can actually go on and look it up right there. And, or don't complain when your kid is not being treated properly in school, or you don't think that the school is doing the right thing for all the taxes you're paying for it.
That's absolutely right. You just have to go look up who those people are, and then take action. So at vote.org, we try to give everybody the information they need to see when the registration deadlines are in your state. Every state has different deadlines, so it's real important that you go to vote.org and check them out. Early voting has started in many places, and so we have those deadlines for people. There are text message and email services as well, so that you can kind of get all the information about when these elections are taking place and what you need to do to participate, to make sure you can affect change at the local and national level in any way that you see fit.
Now, a lot of people here work with nonprofits, or they work for nonprofits, or they support nonprofits. And one of my questions, because you work with them a lot, what are the biggest challenges that nonprofits are facing right now, and how can nonprofit leaders overcome these challenges?
You know, the biggest challenge that nonprofit leaders have right now is that everybody has had to pivot during COVID. There's something that no one could have possibly predicted that's happening right now, no matter what nonprofit it is, and no matter what the cause or issue is. At vote.org, we've had to pivot this year. A lot of organizations were used to in-person activations and now need our digital tools and resources to reach people. And I think that it's become more important than, you know, ever to send text, send email, reach people on their phones, that sort of thing. I think that nonprofits need volunteers, they need money, and, you know, they need your time, energy, and support. So nonprofits all across this country are going to be struggling this year. There's a lot that is happening from a budgetary standpoint that is new and unplanned for, just like many businesses also across our country. So especially in the democracy building space and voting space, people don't realize, but only 1% of philanthropic dollars goes into the civic space traditionally. And so that means that nonprofits that work in civics are traditionally very underfunded.
So if you want to support a nonprofit, and you're saying that you feel that they're going underwater, or they were doing a great cause, because there are a lot of people who have kids who have benefited from nonprofits, you know, kids who may have learning difficulties, or women, or people who've been in bad situations, and of course with animals and stuff like that. If you can't give money right now because you obviously, maybe your job has been affected, or your income, are you saying that you could reach out to nonprofits and say, how can I help? Otherwise, I'm a great accountant, I'm an attorney. You know what? I'll pick up the phones and I'll bang the phones for the people that you need, or whatever the case is. Are you saying that you should do that too? Because I know a lot of nonprofits, they just don't ask for that type of help. They usually want to getting funding so they can put it in the appropriate places they need. But can you do that? And if you do that, can you write any of that time off as well when you're working for nonprofits?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I think that every day the most important thing is, I don't know who all needs to hear this out there, but what we are experiencing right now in this country is really not a fire drill. Like, we say that every election cycle is important. This is the real thing. This is all about, you know, democracy, and it's all about how to administer elections in the middle of a pandemic. There's a lot of challenges for all the civic nonprofits that are out there. And so I think that this would apply to nonprofits that also do other things. It's, you kind of wake up every day and say, what can I do? What can I create? What can I build? And how can I contribute? So we're really excited at vote.org when people say, hey, I've got extra time and I could do some text messaging around registration deadlines, and let everybody that I know about their deadline in their state, or can I have a list and people I can call to text message? There are people who say, hey, I've got great design skills. Can I help you build a deck? There are people who really do have the resourcing, and we do count on those people to step up and say, hey, what can I do to make sure that you have the staff and the talent and that you really need on board, and what do you need to expand your programs and your get out the vote efforts this year? And so I think that no matter what nonprofit it is, it's just kind of, you have to think about, this is the moment to really dig in as an individual and contribute to community by saying, what can I do, create, or build, and how do I stay focused in doing that?
Okay, so I want to ask you some questions about what's going on. Obviously now, it's like how did your team anticipate voting methods for this election being different than the previous elections, due to obviously people can't or don't want to go out due to COVID? Obviously, you have a lot of crap going on about mail or not mail and stuff like that. When I think I think we voted by mail during the Civil War, during the Spanish flu, which was another pandemic that killed way more people than this, and our technology was not as good as where we are today. So I'm not understanding why people would ever doubt. Well, I do know why people doubt the vote by mail method today, only because certain people are putting it out there that we can no longer depend on our post office that's been through so many different ways of, World War I, World War II, Civil War, and another pandemic. What's going to be the difference this year, if anything, from last year?
The biggest change this year, well, first, let me give a little context. In the United States, unlike other countries, we have 50 different states administering elections by their own sets of rules, which can get real complicated real quick. And so that's why at Voteorg, we work to simplify that engagement. When you go on the site, you just go through the process that it applies to your state. But during a pandemic, that gets difficult because everyone is, election deadlines around the primaries changed very quickly. We became a rapid response hub for information. States are still changing the processes by which they'll administer elections. So being up to date on that information is really important this year if you want to have your vote heard and you want to make sure you can participate. And that is really, administering elections during the middle of a pandemic is a challenge. You've seen many states, extend their rules around absentee voting and make COVID a valid excuse to vote by mail. You've seen states change to a postmarked by deadline instead of a received by deadline for ballots. That's, in light of some of the slowdowns. But the biggest difference for voters is going to be that people are going to have to plan their vote a little earlier than they're used to doing. So right now is the time to really think through, okay, is there early voting in my state? Do I want to vote by mail? What are the, if you want to vote by mail, you've got to get that absentee request in right now. If you want to vote early, you need to know that the day that for early voting starts and go in there. And if something happens, go the next day and the next day. Give yourself some time this year, because we know there's some extra challenges, and really use today to be the day that you come up with your own voting plan, and don't wait until the last minute, because if you wait too long, even if you're still before the deadline this year, because of all the challenges, you could get disenfranchised unnecessarily from your vote, and we don't want to see that happen.
All right, well, perfect. I think you covered a lot, and I think I got one last question that I noticed that where you worked before. It was, you were working in the area of trying to get, where was it? It was you were working for monuments. You were trying to get, let me see here. I read it earlier.
The MLK Memorial.
The MLK Memorial. And what did you do there with the MLK Memorial?
I raised money for the Dr. King Memorial on the tidal basin. It was one of the best jobs of my entire life, because we got to work on building this memorial that now is standing there for kids and adults all across the country to go to take inspiration from. And it was it's obviously a well-deserved memorial and pastime.
But where did you raise the money from, and how does that start, right? Because there's so many heroes that people have locally or nationally that you want to acknowledge, and how do you where did you raise the money from? Was it privately funded? Was it from government allocation? How do you get that?
It was a combination. I think we're having this conversation right now in our country about which, where monuments should be or shouldn't be, and how to create monuments, and what we really want to remember as a collective society. And so I think for the Dr. King Memorial, Congress allocated some of the funds, and then we had to come up with private funds outside of that. And we went to companies and corporations and asked them to participate and to give and to help us make, the dream of the memorial a reality. And we were able to find partners like Cummins and the NBA and all sorts of other companies that really leaned into the moment, and they, gave us the rest of the budget gap. Congress provided some of it, they came up with the rest of it, and we were able to execute the project.
And so that can happen locally too. So I think that's a good point, right? If you feel that in your neighborhood or in your city you don't have people that you want to that have done great work and they're not being memorialized, you can start a petition, and then where to go to fund. And I think that you should go to your local people who are the local companies that are making money off your community and say, hey, will you help towards this monument? And not just wait for the government or the people who are in power that may not think of you. I'm not saying they don't, but for a lot of marginalized communities, because like right now, we're here, and I'm seeing some, obviously, you get the people that are just love to say ignorant stuff, and they probably are saying it because they never had anybody to look up to, right, in their community or somewhere in their life, or they're silly. When things happen, they all go, well, nobody loves us, and I can't do nothing about that. And all of a sudden, they're talking about what happened when they ain't got the access to education, or the police force hasn't changed their community, or they don't see statues up there. There's a lot of people like that, unfortunately, too many. But for the people right now who are leaders in the community, and/or they want to go to stores and/or corporations and say, hey, this is an important image that we need to see.
Absolutely.
And that's how they do it. They don't have to wait on government, do they?
No, you don't have to wait on the government. And matter of fact, if you wait on people, as you know from business, if you wait for somebody else to come and do the thing, make your vision a reality, it won't happen. And so, no, it has to start with somebody. It has to start with you, and then organize your friends, your family, your church, your cousins, your aunties, your uncles. Get people together and, start petitioning for it, start demanding it. Go on social media, start making demand, keep going, I think, and is the real lesson behind that, until you see the names and the faces you want to see memorialized in your community, and the types of character that you want to see exemplified in your community. And so I think that, no, over and over again, in my personal life, in my work life, you just have to kind of think about, have the vision, and then think about who do you need to get on board to buy in to make this vision a reality. And it may not happen right away. The memorial to Dr. King took years, but it's standing there now. So I think have the idea, and then start organizing, and then go vote. And once you vote and find those politicians that are going to listen to you, go take it to their door, knock on their door, sit there, do whatever it takes if you want to try to get a public-private partnership going. But yeah, don't wait on anybody else. The time is now on really much everything.
Well, thank you for what you're doing. Listen, you can't have thin skin in what you're doing, because you work for bipartisan. You work for everybody. You want everybody to vote. You and I have not taken a stance here on who we may like or dislike. We just want people to vote. And even in this little limited time that we've been on, this is the lowest amount of people I've ever had view my Instagram live. They just dropped off, right? And the most ignorant amount of people that I've had on it. And when we wonder why this country does not have change, it's either by those who don't want to have this conversation and know anymore, or those who are filling it full of for no reason at all, and then they turn around and they wonder why one side won and the other side is so ignorant, or why they don't have what they have in life. So I really appreciate you for doing this for the people, because you're really a public servant at this point. You're doing it for everybody, even though half of them are. And but you know what? Maybe one day we'll get to vote too, whoever they vote for, and wise them up too. So I appreciate you.
It's true. I appreciate you, and thank you for having me join you today, and thank you for helping us to get voting information out there. And active democracy really does take all of us, and so I appreciate you. If we got a few more people to realize that today is the day to register to vote, then we did our job here.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
So there you have it. I learned from today, and I'm going to bring some more people on that I don't know who it is. I just want to have a conversation about that conversation. Um, I didn't realize that you can get monuments built in areas, you know, that reflect who you value or who you think the kids should see going back and forth to school every day. I know we have our own version of it by, you know, beautiful city like Philadelphia, who put up murals where graffiti artists put them up. But, you know, that can be washed away, that can be painted over. I want to see some more statues in the communities of people that you want to learn and want to value. Also, I mean, I hate to say it, I feel so bad that so many people were saying ignorant things here or just tuning out. And it's funny, you know, I see a lot of people all the time who are asking, hey, yo, man, help me out, or yo, nobody loves me, whatever the case is, but yet they'll do some ignorant shit like that, and you'll wonder and see people who are successful going, why should I help other people? And that's a shame, right? Because that's how the people who are successful didn't get there from not having help. Somebody helped them, and they want to help other people, especially when you're a public servant and people like that. And you see people just saying some ignorant shit. I just feel so bad for them. But then I have to reflect and say, how were they raised? We just don't know how they were raised. Maybe they didn't have a loving family. Maybe they seen such horrible stuff. And maybe you want to continue to help them, but at what point do you stop helping them and stop trying to change such negative energy and take your time and say, let me go find some more good people who are willing to change, who want to change, who want to help. It really puts me in such a bad or a very, very, very challenged place when I see that type of stuff. But at the end of the day, you know, God is good, and I think that you want to be able to go to bed and say, you know what, I want to keep helping people no matter what. And you know, at least I left everything on the field, and I tried because maybe you'll help that one person who'll go out and change the entire world. So anyway, I'm going to bring somebody else on. I'm going to bring somebody else on right now to get me out of the mindset, because the most valuable thing out of that conversation is all the great things that she said about understanding today's national voters registration. They get out there and register. Make sure you understand locally who's running your schools and hospitals and voting on funding for your community. Of course, I hope that, you know, you're part of the census, you know, because they like to you know, to say that you know, certain areas don't need funding because they didn't know who was in the area because of the census. And a lot of these things are used, and it's our right to do so. And I'm going to bring somebody else on, but make sure you guys register to vote and get out there early and trust you know, trust our post office. And you know what, I should bring on Steve Canal, but I don't want to, because I think Steve Canal needs about a half hour himself. I'm going to make sure I bring him on another time. Let me bring on somebody right here. I'm going to bring on somebody. Sorry, you know, I'm dyslexic. I don't get names right. What's up, man?
My name's Ved.
Man, where are you from?
I'm from India. Like now I'm living in Nigeria, but I'm from India originally.
You're in Nigeria right now?
Yeah, I'm in Nigeria right now.
What time is it?
It's around, I guess, 10 o'clock right now.
10 o'clock at night, huh?
Yeah, 10 p.m.
All right, you got a question, man, really quick?
Yeah, I got a question. So, like, right now I am 18 years old. So what do you advise me to do at this young age? Like, of course, like, you know, everyone has a aim to earn some cash, like quick cash and stuff like that, and study at the same time. So what do you think I should be doing? And
at
how do I
do?
Yeah, I'm 18 years old.
Well, you have a job?
No, I'm in university right now.
You're in university?
Yeah, I study in the UK.
All right, are you finding ways to make money online at all, even though you are busy, you know, trying to be the best you can be in school?
Yeah, I'm really productive in school as well. Like, you know, the free time is always there.
Yeah, so here's what I'll be doing if I was in school right now, right? First of all, I would go get a day job if I could. If I couldn't get a day job, I would be doing something online to find ways to make money, whether understanding how to use Amazon. I don't care if it's trading shoes or on sneakers, or you know, because you know social media right now, maybe there's a company out there or people that that are not social media savvy and they have inventory, and you're like, I want to help, I want to show you how to move inventory, and I'll get a percentage off of that. Also, try to keep educating yourself in not the things the school's going to teach you. In finance, try to educate yourself in that, because you're going to need finance no matter what, right, for the rest of your life. School may teach you, they may teach you shop, they may teach you history, and that's cool. I don't need to build a birdhouse. I need to know how to have finance no matter what when I am, you know, listen, when I'm whether balancing a checkbook at home or running a Fortune 100 company. So try to understand those things. And then also, don't lock yourself down. Don't lock yourself down with any other romance at the moment. I mean, you know, have a romance, and I hopefully your girlfriend's not next to you or something like that. But get out there and travel the world, and don't remember. I always told my daughters this: up until 15 or even 20 years old, you're always going to be my, you know, you're always going to be my daughter, and hopefully you'll live to 100 years old, and after a while, you're going to be somebody's girlfriend, somebody's wife, somebody's mother, somebody's grandmother. Take 10 years to learn who you are yourself. If you have somebody in your life, don't get locked down and have a child or marry. Just do me a favor. Get to know who you are. And if that person truly loves you and you truly love them, they'll be there for you in 10 years. And that's the best advice I can tell you. And, you know, and that's it for me, man. Anything else?
Yeah, and I would like, as a businessman, like you as a really big businessman, what do you think of economics as a course for university?
Economics?
Like, yeah, economics.
I think economics is great, to study economics and to study how things work and move, because then you look at things with a different eye. I've never studied economics, but I happen to love like Gladwell and a lot of people who are in economics, and they really basically show you how to think of things in a numbers and in a larger view. So then when you come up with an idea, you think more globally of it, and you think more factual.
Okay, so the last thing, okay, can you give me a one-line advice for a 18-year-old, like, you know, a teenager, which will help me lifetime?
Yeah, money is a great slave, but a horrible master.
Okay, that's actually good.
All right, money is a great slave, but a horrible master. All right.
Last thing to say, you're a really great man, and I love all your shows.
Well, I appreciate
respect you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Good night.
Night. Sleep tight, my man. He said good night. All right, let's see who else we got on here really quick to bring on. Let's bring on this. I think this is a young lady right here.
Hi.
What's happening?
Finally.
Look at that beautiful smile, beautiful teeth, beautiful eyes, and nails. I got it. All in one shot.
Listen, let me tell you, look how God works. I said, today's my day. I'm not gonna keep you long.
All right.
My name is Alicia. I'm from New Jersey.
Jersey.
Yes, I'm a new designer. Well, designing clothes now 3 years. You are my inspiration. One of my biggest inspirations are a lot of male designers, and you know, you set it off for the culture in a lot of ways, and that's what I want to do, you know. But as in 2020, I want my clothes to be for everyone. I just need to make it. I just need to make it. I feel like I have the talent, I have the drive. I just need the exposure. So while I have you, I do have a piece here that I just made. I have a lot of people requesting it, and they want to purchase it. So I'm just going to show it to you real quick.
Show it to me.
I wish I had, like, this is spur of the moment, but I wish I had more time so I could like have prepared. But no I call this my Starburst duster coat, and I just made it the other day because I went to an event. So I'm working on making those to release those.
And how does that piece go on? I can only see the it looks like from the waist up. Is it full length, or where is it at?
It is full length. It's floor length, this one. But I can make it cropped. Let me move this back. I can make it cropped, or I can make it, sorry.
All right.
Cropped, mid-length, or floor length.
How much does it cost? How much do you sell it for?
Okay, so for mid-length,
yeah,
crop rather, 100. For mid-length, 150, and for floor length, 200.
And what is that meant to be? Because I can't tell the weight of it. It's more springtime, and it's made to be.
Well, the funny thing about it is I started last year messing around with fleece, so I make a lot of cute fleece outfits for the cold weather. So I can line this with fleece. That way, when a woman goes, she can have it two ways. She can either have it lightweight, because it's like a gauzy material.
Mm-hmm. I see it. Yep, I got it.
Or she can line it and wear it, or I can line it and she can wear it out.
Right, how many people follow you on?
Well, right now I have 1,100.
1,100 people following you, and how long you been in business?
Sewing, actually making the clothes, 3 years. This summer made 3 years. My question is basically, like, I don't really want to go the conventional route. I know it's very competitive. I also have years of retail experience. And I also have my degree in fashion marketing and management. I sketch as well. My thing is, I don't want to go the conventional route of trying to get my stuff in stores per se. Yes, I do, but I more so want to be a personal designer / stylist for somebody. Like an up-and-coming artist, somebody that's, or even someone that's out already, and really work with their body and be able to give them their own personal style and their own personal look. Or, you know, really I do this because it comes natural. I'm already naturally creative. So for me to, and I like to dress. So for me to do this, it's already kind of in me to do it. So there's a lot of different ways.
So what's your question? What's your, first of all, I like the piece. I mean, I think that it has what we call in our industry hanger appeal. I saw a lot of people right now digitally wave their hands, basically saying, I like it, or some people said it's fire. Some people even said you should charge more for it. So you got your customers right here, because whether they're buying it, they're still investing in you, because I love to say that I got a really great audience who they're informed. They watch Shark Tank all the time, so they're thinking about the number, they're thinking about the style. So right now, they just invested it in you by even sharing, you know, their comments with you. What is your exact? I guess
I don't know. I guess I didn't really have a question per se. My thing is I just wanted to just be able to put myself out there and speak to you. And Waltz in the street said, plug your website. Like, I don't even know your website. Talk to me right now. Listen, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna keep it real with you. Like, it's baby steps to this. And I know that if I do a website like this, I have to have supply and demand. So I'm only one person.
Put your Instagram right now, because I don't even remember what I pulled up. Put it in the comments right now. Let me pin it for you. You know.
It should be at the top, Alicia Levette Fashion.
Okay, Alicia Levette Fashion. All right, plug that in there. And that's your start. You know, I'm going to tell you a quick story. And I'm going to hop off because I don't want to take everybody's time. They usually expect me on, as you know, probably like 12 o'clock, right? But my story was, before I got to LL Cool J, before I got to everybody else to wear my product, the big influencers, I realized that the heavyset guys in my neighborhood never had a good place to go and get clothes. They went to Rochester Big and Tall, and they had like a black shirt or a white shirt, and they never had some fly stuff to wear. So I had 50 shirts, and I embroidered one of the 50 shirts, and I gave it to the big guys. The reason I gave it to the big guys is the super fashionable kids, if I gave it to them, they were going to wear it 1-2 times and get rid of it, because obviously they wanted to show that they were flipping their styles often and they were super creative. But the big guys who had limited access to very stylish stuff, they basically said, man, I'm going to wear this shirt 10 times a month, right? Because I got one of the fly things. And then what they did was this. Those big guys, and I love telling the story, they were the ones who were bouncers in front of the red rope. They were in front of the stages when people performed. They were bodyguarding LL Cool J, Run DMC, Salt and Pepper. And when I didn't give anything to LL Cool J and all them, they used to be like, yo, where you get that? And the big dudes would be like this, yo, I know Shorty, I'll hook you up with him. Wow. But he only rocks with me because, you know, he don't have no money. And if he give it to you, he don't even know if you're going to wear it or you're going to give it to your cousin. And so what happened, I made them feel good. And they became my biggest ambassadors, literally and figuratively. And then they would go over to LL and be like, yo, I'm going to hook you up with one of these pieces, man. But, you know, make sure you take care of little man, because little man ain't got it like that. Mm-hmm. And so you need to do that, because you're going to have some people raising their hand for you that will wear your stuff all the time. You're going to have some people who are going to be like, yo, I rocked it and I need to rock a new look tomorrow because I'm supposed to be Mrs. Fashion. Or you're going to have somebody else who are like, yo, I only do my broadcast in your stuff all the time because you just created my look. Now you have people here who already, you know, putting up, you know, saying they love your stuff already. Start like that. Don't worry about the influencers. An influencer can just be one person that's influencing one other people. These influencers out here in the world, some of them are too much. Some of them are full of themselves. Some of them, the people don't really believe. They like to watch them because their car crashes. And some of them are just one and two females or males who can really, you know, go and put your stuff out there. Like I got somebody here who watches me all the time, really supports me. You know, her name is the Beauty Shark, Ginger. And she supports me on here. Yeah. And I will do anything for her because she supported me so much. No matter I have millions of people following me, I know that anything I say, that she's going to support me, and anything I say wrong, she's going to check me and tell me about it, right? And that's the one you want. Just get 10 people like that. You'll move to 20, you'll move to 40, you'll move to 100, but that's the way you do it. And don't do stores anymore. Stores are done. You got to sell it right now like you're selling it right here. You know what I mean? All right.
Reasonably. Well, look, I appreciate you. And I also have thought about invention because that's the longevity in it. And I have so many ideas, but an invention is something different, you know, for me. So I'm on it. But I respect you and I appreciate you today, okay? And I also make hot girl jean jackets. So jean jackets, I put your name on the back. I'm working on this one. You know, bling it out.
I love it. Yeah. Listen. People right now, it's a visual world. Everybody's on Zoom, anything else like that. Somebody right now should buy one or two of those pieces because you see, I'm probably spending so much time talking to you because you're branded so well, right? You know, your hat, you know, you can see the purple all in the background. You can see the frame is done well. And you know what? I'm going to always remember you because the next time I go on, if I see you again, I'm going to remember you. So people right now, this is what they can learn from you. We're in a visual world right now. You're not someplace walking around the room and it doesn't, you know, it's not consistent. And you can help people be consistent right now too. Have somebody buy some of these pieces and let that be their branding. And then you help them with their branding. It's good to invest $100 a month in a new piece by you so that you could tell what month you're in when you were doing that kind of.
And you're not going to look like anybody out here. You're going to get a million compliments and it's going to pay for itself. So that's how I market myself. But I appreciate you so much.
No problem.
And if you save this, I hope to screenshot it so that I can post it.
Of course, of course. All right, you definitely screenshot it, all right?
Thank you.
Screenshot it right now. Why don't you screenshot it right now?
I love it.
All right.
Thank you so much, Daymond. You have a great day.
You too.
Bye.
If you want another awesome video in our Black Excellence series, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.